Hi, you guys. All right, it's wreath making time. I'm just going to hang out here for a second, give you guys a minute to jump on. And I also want to take a minute to say welcome to all of our new members. I'm so happy to have you here as part of our community. And I hope you will share things with us, ask questions. And of course, at any time, if you guys have any questions for me, you can reach out and DM me at any time. I'm a sustainable lifestyle consultant, a self-sufficiency teacher, so I'm here to help you, give you resources, and hopefully help you guys be more self-sufficient and sustainable in the healthiest manner possible. So self-sufficiency, you guys, is about, taking care of your food, shelter, water, the basics, the essentials. But it's not just about that, and sometimes we need to take time to have a little fun and make and create things and use nature to help us do that. So as you guys know, I'm always trying to use nature to create and make things. It used to be to save some money or to make money, but now it's either or, but it's more for fun and relaxation. So I invite you guys to make some wreaths with me. And I've already got all my bases already ready. We're going to use this one because it's nice and round. Now, these bases, if you guys remember, I made about, I don't know, a month and a half ago, I guess. And this one here is made out of baby birch. It's really pliable. Of course, if you're collecting your materials right now, they're going to be cold and stiff, so bring them in to get warm, and then gently bend the fibers along them so you start to slowly round them out, and it'll be a lot easier that way than if you just try to do it from the cold. They're going to snap really easily. But I already made these. I put them out in the sun to dry a bit. I made a whole bunch. So, let's see. Beans is hanging out. So I made some dogwood ones, and I think there's a maple one here, and the birch, whatever was a good size and pliable. Hey, get out of here. Go on. He's eating the cat food. We'll put that up. That's funny. All right, so I guess while we're here, so this was going to be the second project right here. It's half done. My thing broke, and then we tried to get it out, and then I just gave up because I got frustrated. So needless to say, this was going to be project number 2 with candles in the top, and I was going to put more decorations down here. Really simple with logs and this cool piece that my husband saved. So that was going to be project number 2, but we had some trouble with the tool, so there you go. We'll save that for a later date. So let's make some wreaths. So what I have here, and I really like to use the cedar because it's nice and flat. It's usually pretty green, and you can bunch it up nice, and it just looks really pretty. But you can use whatever kind of pine or spruce that you like or that you have available. I also have some white pine right here, which is really beautiful, but it's very sticky. You can see it's already got sap on it, and I just cut this a little while ago. It's nice and fresh. So what I'm actually going to do is save all these little ends, these butts, they're called, butts, and I'm going to use it for my medicinal salves, so we're not going to waste any of that. I may even save a little bit of cedar. I'd like to make a bug away salve maybe in the spring, so we'll see. All right, so let's get started. So hopefully, before we continue here, hopefully I don't go past an hour. But if I don't finish in an hour, guys, what we'll do is we'll let it kick me off. And we'll go take a tinkle, have a drink of water or whatever. And then we'll come back and I'll jump back on and we'll finish. If you guys still have time. Hopefully we can get her done in an hour. I tried to prepare everything in advance. So our main tools are going to be these little things right here, zip ties. So I already cut down all my cedar so I would be prepared for you guys. So before I start, I see there's a couple of you out there. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for giving me your time. If you have comments or questions while I'm going through, put them up. If I can't see them because I'm kind of far away here, I'll read through them after, I promise. So, and if there's any new members here, if you didn't catch in the beginning, I want to tell you welcome. So glad to have you here. And sometimes these skills are fun, sometimes they're essential, and this week is about fun. And same with next week. We're going to make some easy gifts from the home. We're going to make a couple of things. For those of you who like making homemade gifts or, are on a budget, We're going to make a couple next week. So let's get started. What I'm going to do here is I want to layer it with a couple of these wide, thick pieces and long pieces. And you can see that this side is really light and this side is dark. The lighter side is the side we don't want to see. If there's any brown bits in there, I mean, just pull it out. It's not a big deal. You're going to cover this with decorations anyway, so it's okay. What we want to do is I want to get a nice layer in my hand here. I'm just going to hold it in because I don't really want any holes on it. What I like to do, let's get a nice piece here, a nice thick piece. So this is the piece I'm going to stick on. I'm going to put this underneath. So even though I'm going to tie it right here, it's not going to be like a bunch of, it's not going to look like this. Because when you have this, it makes it really hard to cover them up. So we're going to add that in, kind of layered it in there, really simply. And then, now you want to find the most roundest way. I think I'm going to go this way. And what I'm going to do for the pine is I'm going to add in 4 sections of pine. So I have my wreath. I know it's going to go this way. So I'm aiming to get the pine pieces to flow out right in the corners, if there's corners. So we're going to start with this right in the middle then. And it's okay if you have really long pieces sticking out. We can cut them down later. Handy dandy snips. So what we want to do is you want to get it in the middle. And you don't want to just bunch everything together because it's not going to look really pretty. So take your time to weave it through just a little bit. And these are just zip ties. So if you screw it up or you add too much or not enough, guess what? You can cut it off or add more. Really simply. We just tie it nice and tight. And these are all going to get cut off after. So that's the back. So that's our first piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue down this way all the way around until we get back up here. And we're going to continue with another layer of cedar. It smells really nice, guys. Cedar is really great great to use for bug repellent. So this one's kind of, I squished some of my cedar by putting it in the greenhouse and not covering it properly, but that's okay. So now what I also did is I saved some of these ugly pieces here. So if I need a little piece to fill in spaces, sometimes this isn't flat, it's not store-bought. So sometimes you need to fill in a little bit without putting in a whole lot of greenery. So I like to bring in a couple of these pieces, these little butts. So if I need to cut them off and put them in, I have them. But I don't need it just yet, so we'll get that out of the way. And these big fan pieces are really nice because you can fold in the bottom pieces and make it super thick. And then I just keep holding it with my thumb. Now I have my layer. Now I want something underneath where my sticks are sticking out. So we'll get this nice thick piece here. And again, I'm going to hang it. And that's okay if you have these later, we can cut them out. So I'm going to actually bring this a little bit lower. Now on here, we don't want to see these. But we don't want to bulk up too much, otherwise you're going to have to put like 50 layers. So what I like to do is I like to keep them a couple inches apart for the zip ties. And again, you can fill in later. We're going to add decorations, so don't worry too much. But if you add too much, it's really hard to pull out because then you get all these gaps in the zip ties and it's really hard to get it back to where it should be. Whereas if you leave it a little less, you can add in here and there as you're decorating. So, like I said, I'm going to try, here's the zip tie, and I'm going to try and put my next one here is about 1.5 inches away. Just to give you a rough idea. It's not exact. Every piece is going to be a little different. And to be honest with you, I've never sat at a table and made this before. I'm always on the floor or standing up at a bench. So seems to be going well. All right, so we got our second piece on there. Now I'm about at the spot where I want to put in my pine, but I don't want to put in all my pine just yet. Now what I did is I just cut these big branches. We want to cut them down just a little bit. Now I always save my pine to cut down as I'm going because I like to fit it in. As you can see, each piece is a little different. You're going to have longer ones and shorter ones, where this one is going to be really long and these are going to stick out everywhere. So I like to do it as I go. With the cedar, I pre-cut everything to roughly about, you know, these sizes, anywhere between 6 to 12 inches. And again, you can cut them down later. But I like to do the cedar as I go. That way I can fit it in. It's optional. It's just how I do it. So we're going this way. We have our 2 layers. So and I think this piece is kind of brown. So we're going to throw that on the floor for Beans. There you go, Beans. He's hanging out. So this one, this is really sticky too, by the way. Be prepared for that. But if you don't know how to get off pine resin or sap or pitch off your hands, you just use a little olive oil and then use some alcohol after that. So I'll need to do that. I'm already sticky. Right. Are we in Canada? I always forget. Yeah, inches. I go by inches. If you need centimeters, I can't help you. I did all my math in the States. All right. So I got this big bulky piece. It's too big. I'm going to cut out this little chunk here. I want to flatten it a little bit. And this is a messy adventure, guys. So I have this piece, and I know it's going to fit in here just nice, but I want to layer it up a bit. So I'm going to put in all these little pieces. But I don't want to just do it like this because you're going to see all these stalks in when I do it with the zip tie. So we're going to put in a little bit of cedar with this piece. It's going to help it blend a little bit better. I like to start with a little piece at the back. I think that's too big. So we can find a medium piece here. Here we go. So this one, again, at the back. So I'm still holding it where I'm going to be zip tying. And then we're going to do the same thing to cover up the butts a bit. But I'm going to do it at the front this time. So I actually learned how to do a lot of this basic stuff at a factory. I worked at a wreath making factory in Ontario. And it was really cool. And they did them a little different than this. And they had an automated system. But pretty much the principles were the same. So I'm going to actually take this piece and cut it down because it's really pretty and I want to use it. We're going to put that right in the front. So now you can see I have a nice little layer going here with both the cedar and the white pine. So we want to fit this in. We want to make it blend. This one's going to go a little further away, probably a good full 2 inches. Again, we can add in more later. But the pine is a little thicker, so I wanted a little extra space in there. Otherwise, it's going to stick out. Everything will start sticking out like this, and you'll have this giant wreath that everything is falling out of. And it's a real pain, trust me. I've made a few. All right. So here, we're going to weave this in. It's hard to see here because I got a big bunch, and I don't want to lose it. It's like tying ribbons on presents, guys. Hi, welcome. So there we go. Getting there. Looks just like a mess right now. And again, you can do the same thing and just go this way and have the top exposed and put big ribbon on there and some lights. And you can have just a decorative half a wreath. These also work really well if you save the long branches. I didn't bring any in, but you save all these long branches and you layer them together. You can decorate them, make like a door swag, I guess it's called. You want to use bigger pieces for that. All right, so I got my pine. We're going to continue on with the cedar. I'm going to grab another handful here. I have a big box full. I like to grab extra because I'm picky and I'll end up throwing a lot of it on the floor. So this one's nice. It's already pre-curved for us. So we're going to use this one as our bottom. Layer it in, so you can fold them in so it's nice and thick. And then I think that's about enough for that piece. Yeah? Yeah. So now I have these pieces here, which are perfect to fold back in. It's going to give an extra layer, but I don't want them sticking out too much. I think I have too much. I have too much. So we'll bring this down a bit, just like this. See? So sometimes you don't know until you actually get it on there. See, I don't want to lose my cedar, my pine. cut that chunk out right there. See, so you can still see the pine sticking out. And this is a process. It does take a little while. I'll do my best to chatter on. How you guys doing out there? How's your day going? I see most of you are local, so I know you're having some crappy weather like I am. But that's okay. We had a beautiful week for the most part. So there. Alright, we'll keep going with cedar, 1 or 2 more, and then we'll put in another layer of pine. Alright. So now I did put a big one there, so we're going to make this next section a little bit smaller. Again, I don't want to... See how I don't know if you can see it's already starting to stick up if I add too much. So we don't want to do that. Yes, for sure. This is super fun and easy to make. And my daughter and I collected all this stuff because we're going to make our own together at a later time. And I don't know, it's just fun to sit here. It smells good. Nature in the house. All right, see, I'm starting to get picky now. I want that piece. It's okay to be picky. I'm putting this on my door. I have to look at it every day, you know? And I took the time to pick all this stuff. I want the best of it. All right, so this piece is really big, but it's got some nice quality to it. So we're going to cut her down a bit. And we don't need that butt. So far, we're doing good. I haven't had to put any of those thick butts in there. That's what they call them. They call them butts. I didn't make that up. That's the lingo. All right, I lied. Look at I lied. I'm going to put a butt right here. Right there. There. All right. Again, just, you know, throw it on the floor. Guess who's have to clean it up? You do, so it's okay. All right, again, sometimes it's tricky to get them in, but that's okay. It's better to take your time than to rush it and miss a whole section, and then you pick it up and all your stuff just falls right off. I'm telling you guys all these tricks and tips because I've actually done all of them, every single one. Yeah, when I started making these myself without the machines, I had to get creative. And the zip ties were what I had on hand, and they ended up being the easiest thing. I've tried wire and twine and a few different things, and the zip ties just happen to be, I know they're plastic, but they are definitely the easiest thing to make this. So for the most part, it's not completely recyclable. We'll put this in the front, I think. And again, in the back here, that's kind of small. Look at this piece. So what are you guys doing on this Saturday? Are you making wreaths with me? Yeah. What's going on at your houses? Are you cooking? Are you cleaning? Are you watching Netflix? What's the dealio? So, right, I think what I'm going to do is add in the pine into this one. I was going to skip it to the next one, but I think we're going to add it in. So what I'm going to do is to actually take out some of this. Sometimes you just got to play around with it. It's, you know, we're not following how-to step by step here. Everything was collected in nature. Everything is different. So, yeah, I think that's where it's going to sit nicely. I don't know what you guys think. It's hard to tell from your angle. But I think that's where it's going to sit best. So we'll get this thick piece that I had and put it behind. That'll be our, see how much blockage it does. And then I actually have some really nice pieces here. I really like when I can find them, to be honest with you, when they're covered like this with the extra bits. But sometimes you can see they start to go yellow before the ends. So it's up to you if you pick it. I like it because it fills it in a bit. But I don't need that much. So this should be good. See, it's nice and long. So I should be able to put this down here and fill it in a bit. And then we'll get some cedar to work in there. The cedar I just dumped there. Just like that, I think. So I think that'll fit nicely. Yes. Yes, it will. So again, this one's a couple inches away. So far, they're all between about 1.5 to 2 inches separate for my zip ties. And we're about halfway there. I don't know what our time is at. Anybody got a clock out there? I'm hoping not to run over an hour, but to be honest, sometimes it takes hours, not hours, it takes over an hour to get this on and then decorated, because we're still going to decorate it. I want to show you guys how to make a bow really simply. So now we're just going to fill in more cedar here. So anyone that's watching this on the replay, please, if you have any questions or comments or whatever you want, just please leave it there. I always go back and check everything to make sure I answer you. And if you guys have made any wreaths and have any pictures you want to post, we would love to see them. There we go. Trying to find the right piece. I love when you guys share stuff in the group. So now right here, I got to my first dilemma. My piece of my frame goes in a bit, so now I know I need to put in an extra bit here. So I'm going to put this in. It's going to fill it in just a little bit, and I think I'll need a little piece of cedar to put there too. So there, it's a little stronger than all the other bits I put on, but again, right here is a little bit thin, and I want to make sure that it's not dipping in and sticking out too much. All right. Thanks. Karen's my assistant. Appreciate that. So there, we're getting there. We're getting some shape on it. And again, we can trim it and cut it down as we go. We're about halfway. Not bad, not bad. So I can see right here already the cedar piece is bugging me. I'm going to cut it out. There. All right. So keep going with the cedar. Now I want to have the next two pines about right here. So 1 or 2 more cedars, then we'll add in pine again. And again, these are really nice pieces. Luckily, we collected them early enough. And I'm going to throw in this nice big piece here, I think. Just like that. Just like that. One more in the front. Oh, trying to get the right side. I hope you guys can see okay. I didn't turn on the above light because I felt like it was, you know, shining up my forehead a little much. But let me know if you guys can't see. I'll turn it on. And I did put on my Christmas lights. You can't see the other ones, but I have ones on my desk there as well. Getting festive early this year, guys. Usually I wait till December. Other than my wreaths, I always make the wreaths, but everything else usually waits. So yeah, we'll do one more, and then I think we'll put in the next set of the next bunch. Here, let's get rid of this mess. This is a big messy adventure. I love this. Sticky, it's sticky too. If you want to do this with gloves, that's fine. Make sure that the gloves fit good because otherwise you'll be snagging them on all these little pieces and it's a pain in the butt. In the factory that I did this in, it was really small. It was just like a little somebody's farm. And they did it seasonally. But we had to wear gloves and it was really hard to do some of the little teeny bits with the gloves on. So if you have to wear gloves, make sure they fit really well. No. Let's see, guys. Yeah. Cedar, or the pine in next. It smells good in here. Somebody's cooking something with a fire or something. Something smells good. It's not me. I'm going to bake some cookies later, though. So this week, next week, I guess, for the skill, I thought we'd continue on with some crafting and stuff. But for gift ideas, especially for those of you who are on a budget. I've had so many years where I just couldn't afford to give everything to everybody. You know, it's expensive. So I really got in the habit of making a lot of things. And, you know, people really love homemade gifts. So we're going to do a couple really simple ones this week. Simple things that you might already have at the house. Just a couple ideas here and there. Hopefully, have a little fun as well. That off. So what do we got here? Is it? I just use olive oil. Karen just wrote the go-go. It's good for, let me get my equipment here. It's good for removing the pitch, the sap. I just, like I said, it's getting bigger now. It's harder to move. I just use olive oil, and then I usually run some hand sanitizer, some alcohol over after. Okay, so this piece is a lot bigger here, but, I don't like that. We're going to fix it. There we go. All right. So there, we need one in the front. Just like that. Okay. So, as you see, we're progressing here. I'm getting messier and messier, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So that's generally why I do it on the floor, but we're having fun. So to make sure this is in here, I want it to look like it's kind of opposite the other ones here. So I think that's a really good spot. I think we can adjust that one a bit. There we go. There we go. Zip tie in hand. Super sticky. Like I said, I didn't want to put gloves on because it's just, I find it really difficult. So this one's really big on here, so we're going to try and get it nice and snug without breaking the zip tie, guys. These are just dollar store zip ties. All right, so there. So we got so far. Getting smaller and smaller. So we're going to trim all this. I might not do too much before we decorate it. I can trim it after. And I have, I don't know if you can see behind me, but I have a whole bunch of little decorations. I have some ribbon. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't have to go buy a whole bunch of decorations. In fact, my main decoration is usually a ribbon and some painted pine cones. But I got a couple extra things here just to soup it up a bit for you. Show you, give you some ideas of what you can do to make it pretty. Again, you're just making a tree that's round. So what do you put on your Christmas tree? All right. So that's a nice bunch. Put that right on there. Now I have some butts sticking out right here. So what I want to do is I want to try and incorporate them into this zip tie. It's going to give it a little extra strength because we're getting closer to the end here. And it's going to be less junk that's sticking out. Even though we're going to cut some of it, sometimes you can't cut it all. Where you have your ties and your wire and things. So hopefully I got that in there. Before I tighten it, I'm going to make sure. So if you guys haven't noticed, I've been pulling all these zip ties so they're sticking out underneath. It's going to make it easier to cut. This one to rip. As you can see, the back, it's looking good. We're almost there. So where are we? I think maybe one more cedar. This piece of it. Yeah, don't be afraid to chop it a little bit here and there. You want to be able to have like a nice round to it when you're all done. Put those on the floor. I made a huge mess. It's really nice when I can do this outside, but we turned our shed into the greenhouse, so this is now the craft do-it room. So yeah, I want to cut a little bit more of this off here, just because it's bugging me, guys. All right, okay. All right, a little more cedar, then we're going to do our last pine in there, and then what we're going to do is work in the end underneath where we started, and then we'll get to the decorating part. So we're almost there. Karen, are you still out there? What's our time at? Can't be that much longer since a few minutes ago. There. I'm not going to put too much, but that's a really nice layer right there. So I don't know how many zip ties I use. I definitely use probably a whole bag for a couple wreaths. All right. I got some stuff sticking out back here. Sticking out back here. What's going on? There we go. Nature. It's not perfect, but it kind of is. There. All right. We're going to add in our last pine. And we're almost at the end here. I have a bag right here of pine. I have a box of cedar in case you're wondering. I'm not just pulling it out of a magic hat. I promise. All right. So this is a pretty nice piece. It's already got a nice thickness in there. I think we'll go with that. So, and like I said, I'm going to be saving a lot of these pieces here, especially, I mean, look at the sap on that. That's going to make really nice for a salve. I'm making a first aid one later, and I made stuff already the other day, but for the next batch, this will be great. All right, now we need the cedar. So now this is getting heavier as we progress, you guys, so be careful if any of you have any issues. I mean, it's not like 20 pounds or anything, but it gets a little heavier and heavier as you keep going. So that's a really nice piece. How can I work that in there? Let's save that. This is not a nice piece. Okay. So this is a good example of something I would not use. I might use these little bits right here, but this end, see, even though I could probably flatten it out, it's just no good. So I generally try not to pick these pieces. I try to pick, as I showed you, the ones with the fan pieces, but this is good if I need to fill in, so we'll throw that back down there. And then here, this is a really nice piece right here, actually. It's just long. There. So we got our pine and our cedar. I actually think I'm off a little bit. We're going to put a little more cedar in here. This one, this nice big fan piece. I like them because they're nice and flat. They're easy to work with. You can bend them to fill them in if you want. You can cut them off. That's just what I like. Like I said, you can use balsam is really nice to make these as well. We're close. We're close. I guess I need that piece after all. There we go. Now she'll fit in there. Good. Actually, there we go. All right, hang on here. Brain fart. That one's thick. But it's not sticking up too much, so that's good. Making a big mess. So we'll finish off our last little bits here. So I'll show you where we're at. I don't know how far back I can get here. So as you can see, bits sticking out. That's okay. We're going to be tucking them in. I know it's hard to see, but we're going to tuck them in under here where we started. So it's round. And then we're going to trim it a bit. How's it looking, guys, so far? Getting there. One more bit here should do it. Maybe two. Yes, we're going to do just really simple. Some of the things I've already been making for my own friends and family. I don't know if you guys can see. Probably not. My little studio. This is my office behind me. This little corner. I got my little setup there. I've been making all kinds of little homemade gifts. And I just want to show you how easy it could be just to go through your pantry and find a couple things that can look really fabulous for fantastic gifts. Excuse me. I also have just some random pieces of wood. Surprise, surprise. Some old skid wood that I thought would make a really nice gift idea. There's a couple different ideas I'm going to throw out there, but we're going to make one in particular. And then we're going to do something with food. I'm not too sure yet. We're maybe going to make some cookies or something that we can make into a little box. Something that's not too out of the normal, but just to have a little fun with ideas from the homestead, from the pantry. Things that taste good, look good, smell good, and don't cost a whole lot. All right, so this is a nice piece here. Where am I? Sometimes they're hard to tell. There we go. But you can tell by the little bit of shine on the nice side. There. So now I'm just going to stop talking for a minute so I can see what I'm doing. All right. So we're going to work all these pieces in together as best as we can without them sticking out too much or wrecking the piece that we have here previous. So I think I'm going to actually have to add in one more little bit in here, which is fine. And we'll get decorating and trimming. I'm not going to trim it too much. I don't want to waste too much time. I could spend an hour trimming it down, guys. So, yeah, one more bit, and then that's it. All right. We got some nice pieces here. There we go. All right, I'm just going to sneak these two pieces in right in here. There, so you want to fill in that gap right there. And I'm actually not even going to zip tie them because our ribbon is going to go here, and that's going to hold it in place. So let me just cut this piece of thing off here. All right. So there you go for the most part. Ta-da! All right, and what I'm going to do is actually just give it a quick trim just to make sure it's round enough, and then I can trim it up later. A good way to trim it is not like this, is to actually hang it up on the wall or lay it down on the floor and stand up. Actually, I'm going to stand up right now. Or even just hang it on your door. So, all right. So I don't want to mangle it. And again, you can round it down a bit, feel if there's anything major sticking out, like right here. So what I'm going to do is zip tie this in the back. So you're not going to see it. It's not going to attach to any of the branches. But it's going to hold those pieces that are sticking out. I don't want to cut them, because that's part of my structure. And we'll cut all this off after. I'm not going to do that right now because it takes a little while. So let's have a good look at it. She looks good. All right, so now we're going to decorate it. All right, we'll finish trimming it later. What do you guys think? You like it? It goes this way, I think. Right here. Okay, so the bow. Now, I've already made some previous bows. They're kind of wrinkly, but let me get up for a minute here, guys. Grab some of my stuff. So I already made some bows. These are actually older bows. I make tons every year. So I'm going to show you guys how to quickly make a bow. I'm going to use this one even though it's wrinkly because I like the colors of it. It's just how I'm feeling. So we'll put that down there. And then I grabbed a few things from the dollar store. I have some bells. I have, we might not use any of this, but I just want to show you guys that you can use all kinds of things to put on your wreaths. I grabbed a little bit of snowmen. These are Christmas tree decorations. These are really nice. I really love having the little presents on there. I have some purple ones. Bulbs. And these little ribbons are really nice too. Sometimes they're nice to glue on to the pine cones or just have them on themselves. So I have a whole bunch of options. But what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the ribbon and the pine cones. So the top of my wreath is right here. We're actually going to just hang this up. I have a little rack right here. So we're going to hang this up, get this out of the way. That way I can look at it, admire it. All right. Okay, so we need wire. I get this wire from the dollar store. I get most of my little bits from the dollar store. You can get all the same stuff at the hardware store. If you don't have access to a dollar store, you can also order this stuff online. It's just little crafting wire. It's nothing fancy about it. It's really pliable. But this wire, you can see my hands are already getting black from it. This wire is not good for jewelry. This is kind of, I don't even know what they call it, but it's not good for jewelry because as you can see just from touching it, I got black. But it's really good for little projects like this. And I just picked a whole bunch up because my last couple years supply, I used up. All right, so have our wire. We don't need much, but make sure it's ready for us. Okay, so this is just one of those rolls. It's a 3-foot roll, I think. 3 foot, maybe 5 feet, maybe 6 feet. It's just one of those rolls you get. It was like $2.99 or whatever. So really simply, we're going to try and find the half point. Pretty easy. Fold it a little bit. Most of the ribbon you get has wire in it, in case you didn't know. Not all of it, but a good majority of it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a loop. And we're actually going to pinch this together. And then we're going to make a loop with the other half very carefully. Around the same size. And we're going to cross it over. You can see we're crossing it over. And pinching it. And I'm going to scoop it under my thumb. And then we're going to take one of these pieces from the back. And we're going to make another round. And we're going to scooch it together. Squeeze under your thumb. It's hard to keep it under your fingers there. I'm going to switch hands here. So again, make sure you're using the opposite pieces as you go. And you have to twist it a little bit to keep it as the same pattern. That's all right. That's why there's wire in there. So we got 4. Come on. Twist, twist. There we go. Make another loop. Get in there. Bend it as you go. Now, right here is where I'm going to add in wire to hold this together. And I have wire cutters, make it easier. All right, so we're going to wire this together. Very careful with the wire. You don't poke your fingers or yourself in the eye. All right. Now you can continue on and add more loops to this if you want. You still have quite a bit, so let's add in a couple more. They're really easy. Just add in another loop. Of course, you may need to twist and bend a little bit, but that's why we put the wire on there. All right. We fold it as we put it in the middle. We take our other piece and we do the same thing if you want to make them a little smaller as you go. In fact, I think I'll make that one a little smaller. That's okay. All right, so we're getting our pieces there. Now I'm going to run the wire over again. Make sure that you're connecting them. I know it's hard to see. My thumb is holding where these 2 pieces I just folded. So now I'm going to run the wire across here because that should hold the 2 pieces under my thumb. Let go and find out. Yeah. All right. Now what I like to do, and this is optional, you can put anything you want in the middle. Let's untwist these a bit. But I like to do one more little bump right in the middle, just like that. So it looks like a proper bow. And again, we can reshape this after we finish tying it all together. I'm going to get this wire one more time around this loop. We're going to twist it. We need this wire because this is what's going to attach to the wreath. So there we go. There's the basic. Now let's fix it. So believe it or not, guys, I actually watched a lady like for 3 hours make ribbons one day until I could learn how to do it because I kept screwing it up because I kept trying to tie it. So eventually I stopped tying it and I just used the wire. And now we're going to get this beautiful, beautiful bow. You can see it. What do you guys think? It's pretty nice, right? Thank you. Thank you. So that's pretty nice. In fact, I wonder if we should use it. Maybe we should use it because I just made it. So now I've already left it kind of thin where I wanted the bow. So right here, right in the middle. Now, you don't want to squish all your stuff, so really work it in your foliage here. What do you think? Center? Does that look like the center? Looks like the center to me. Get it nice and twisted in the back. You can cut all this stuff off later. Now I'm going to squish it. We're going to have to squish it so I can show you this part. So what I do is I twist it, and then, I don't know if you can see, but I actually make a loop. So I make a loop, and then I twist that so it's nice and tight. And then you can adjust it later and cut all this extra wire off. I'm just going to tuck it under here for now. And we fix the bow. And that's why I like to cut it too, trim it when it's up, because then you can see where all the pieces fit. So there you go. Pretty easy. So put that there. So I know for sure that I like to put pine cones on. So we're going to get these ready first. And I definitely know that I want to use some of these little guys. So we'll get a couple out. I think they're super cute. They're going to be super annoying on my door, but that's okay. So I think I got enough pine cones. Okay, so for the pine cones, in fact, you can see some of them have wire in them. I like to reuse stuff. I'm throwing stuff out every year. So, some more wire here. I'm going to mess my wire already. Don't be wire dumb like I am. Keep your wire nice and neat. I don't even know how I did that. You guys were watching. Nobody told me I was messing up my wire. Okay. Wire cutters, best option. So now I want 3 of these together for the bottom. So we're going to have a small one, a bigger one, another small one. I have another small one right here. It's not very pretty, but we're going to use it anyway. So you want to get your wire inside the base, twist it in, got one. Be careful, don't poke your freaking eye out. And again, get your next one in there, get the wire underneath as far as you can. Break the pine cone like I just about did. Third one, I'm going to use this one. There, luckily the pine cones already got all these spaces for us. There we go. Twist the wire together. Easy as pie. So, you can either add some bling to this, you know, you can put some ribbons on there. You got little doodahs you want to work in, little flowers. You can put some bells in there, whatever you like. This is all about how you want to decorate it, really. Now, I always like to put my 3 right here at the bottom. So, just wire. Again, try to center it if you can, but it's not a big deal. You can adjust stuff later. That's what I love about the wreaths. You can just adjust stuff later. It's nature, man. All right. See, I already messed it up. All right. There we go. Just give that a real twist. I'll do a proper twist after. I know we're running out of time. So again, you're gonna have to keep adjusting, keep adjusting. I don't know if I got that centered. Looks centered. So when I'm done and I have it all trimmed and hung up and everything, I will take some proper photos so you guys can see the finished product. If I can manage to get some more wire here. It's not looking good, not looking good. All right. So, and again, same thing. You just put on your decorations how you want them. I'm going to add on 2 more pine cones and the bells. And I think that'll probably be the extent of it for me. But you can soup it right up. Sometimes you can wrap ribbons around. You can cover it with ribbons. Birds look really nice nestled into one of these homemade wreaths. I don't have any little birds. I used to have some. that I put on here with like fake little berries and stuff like that. Those look really nice as well. Acorns, all the natural stuff. Looks really pretty. So there, just a real quick. So I hope you guys will make a wreath or two. You don't have to make them this big. You can make little small ones, especially if you have access to, say, any kind of willow or really soft, bendy branches. So, and I just painted these. I literally just ran a white paintbrush up and down them real quick. Actually, these are a couple years old. These ones, I try to reuse them because you can't always get these nice ones. So, tying this on real quick under here, guys. All right, so how are we looking so far? Barely see ya. So this is going to look good after it's trimmed. Some really thick parts right here need cutting out. Don't trim it yet. Don't trim it yet. And these little bells are going to be great. So these bells actually came with their own little ribbons, but I want them to hold on there. So I think we're going to put 2 together. What do you think? 2? 2. Now, you can either tie these little bits right into the branches, or you can tie it all the way around. It's up to you. I do like to remove some of these things because this is recyclable other than the plastic. So as much as I can get off, I do. Did I lose one of my bells? There it is. All right, one more, and I think we're about done here for the most part. Made a mess of this wire. It does need some red. You're right. And maybe I should have put the red bells. Woo! I have a red ribbon I might switch it out for, to be honest with you. What do you think? I have this one. It's a little messy, but it's nice and red. I squished the hell out of it. It's got little stars or something on it. Yeah, it does need red. I agree. It needs color. See, Karen knows. So I might end up switching out some of these bells for red ones and putting in that red ribbon. I don't know. It's the fun of it, you know? Just having fun. Decorating. Chatting with friends. All right. There it is for the most part. See if we can make it a little prettier here. Squished all my ribbon. So I'm going to cut all this little excess off here, and we'll get all this trimmed up. So there you guys go. Really easy. It's kind of crooked. Homemade wreath. This one's nice and big. It's going to look great on the door. And I might make a few to sell on my stand. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. But regardless, that's it. That's all. So I hope you guys make one and you enjoyed watching me make one and make a huge mess. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm probably gonna take this outside, hang it up on the wall or on the door and give it a good trim. And then yeah, I'm gonna tweak the color a bit because Karen's right. It definitely needs more color. It needs more bling. So I might even add on these little snowmen in there, here and there, because why not? Isn't that they cute? So yeah, we're going to bling this up a bit, add more color, trim it up, and I'll take some photos and show you guys. All right, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what kind of decorating genius I can come up with. But that's the basic idea of a wreath. You got the base homemade with twigs. You got cedar and pine. We made a ribbon and added some pine cones. That's it. So that is the last project of the week. And next week we're going to be in the kitchen. I'm going to come on live a couple times. I will list maybe some times so you guys know in advance. Probably Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That's generally when I do my post for the skill of the week. So most likely to be those days in the evening after supper time. And day one, we're just going to make some stuff right out of the pantry. We're going to fill up some jars to make them look really pretty for gifts. On Thursday, we're going to start a wooden project or a framed project. I haven't decided which one I want to do yet because I'm making the gifts for people as well. And then on Saturday, we'll do some cooking or baking or candy making or something along those lines to create some delicious, hopefully healthier treats to give for Christmas. And that's the plan. That's the plan for next week. So you guys, thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. And I hope you had a really good time learning how to make a wreath. I appreciate your time more than anything. So thank you for that. You guys have any questions or anything before they tell me time's up? Hang that right there. So, yeah, hanging a little cockeyed so I don't wreck my ribbon. All right, you guys. Well, like I said, thank you so much for joining me. And for all the new members, thank you for joining our group and becoming part of the community. We're really starting to grow, and it's amazing. That's exactly what I wanted, to be able to teach and share, hopefully motivate you guys to be more self-sufficient, do-it-yourself lifestyle in the healthiest way possible. So enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to get a tea going, make some salves, and I'll see you guys next week. So enjoy the day. Thanks for hanging out. And if you're watching this on the replay, don't forget you can leave your comments and questions. I'll make sure to get back to you. So have a good one, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.